Man, this was a great game too, man. There was so much good on yesterday. In fact, I didn't catch the first drive of the Bama game because I was still focused on this, and I didn't feel like going outside and turning all 3 TVs on just for one drive. But this Tennessee-Mississippi State game, Cole, your biggest takeaway from this, is it that Mississippi State's better than everybody thought, or did Tennessee concern you here, or where are we at with this one?
2, and you kind of brought up both. Number 1, definitely Mississippi State's better than we thought. I think that the offense is night and day, so much further progressed of what you want to see with Jeff Lebby going into his second season than you ever could imagine. Shapen's a good quarterback that fits a system. You have wide receivers in Brendan Thompson, Anthony Evans that can break on through. Seydou Traore is a really good tight end that fits the mold. You can run the football with 2 different guys in Davin Booth and Fluff Bothwell. Your offensive line has its faults, but against underwhelming teams that you may go up against, you're going to be able to hold your own, and you're going to upset somebody. Like, it didn't happen on Saturday, but you are going to upset somebody. It's like last season with the Tennessee-Arkansas game. There will be a team that we're overhyping or giving too much praise for what they've already shown, and they're going to find a way to not be able to get the win, and Mississippi State's going to win that football game. So that's a good thing. But what I really took away more so from Tennessee's side is you have a second punch and you have a third punch, and that's your defense that is going to get healthier with the arrival of Jamal McCoy and Ricky Gibson, and your defensive line is winning its one-on-one battles to where if a quarterback is feeling the pressure, he may be susceptible to a turnover, whether it be an interception downfield or whether it be a fumble. I mean, you got to remember that there were 2 drives that came off of, 14 points that came off of turnovers for Tennessee. Like, that was such an underlying stat that we didn't pay enough attention to. If they don't get those plays, then Joey Aguilar has 2 bad interceptions, and they don't get to return the big interception by Colton Hood to make it 10-7. And then you have the Joshua Joseph 41 yard scoop and score. Like, that's something that you can bank on as a secondary element to when you take on Alabama, to when you face off against John Mateer in Oklahoma, to when you got to go travel down to the swamp and take on Florida, a place you always lose. So Tennessee has its faults. You're starting to see more of the turnover issues that Joey Aguilar did possess when he was at Appalachian State. But you still can run the football. Chris Brazzell is still a great receiver. Mike Matthews is coming into his own. The offensive line was pretty solid on the day. They gave up a couple sacks, but nothing crazy. And you're going to be a team that I think going into the month of November will be fighting for one of those spots in the college football playoff. But kind of like I said last week about Auburn, I'll say about Mississippi State. Auburn does not belong in the top 25 anymore because of the way that their offense looked against Texas A&M. I don't feel right punishing Mississippi State if you had them in your top 25 and taking them all the way out because they lost in overtime to Tennessee. They played their asses off, and it came down to one bad play, and ultimately, Tennessee survives. But give a lot of credit where the program is going in year 2 underneath Jeff Lebby out in Starkville.
I'll get right back to the video, but first I do want to give some love to our friends over at Sleeper. You should be making money with us on the Sleeper app this college football season. There's a ton of things you can do on there, from eliminator leagues to pick'ems in the NFL to just checking the scores of the game. It's the best interface that I've seen for just keeping updated with what's going on in the world of sports and certainly in the world of college football. What you, though, need to be doing is playing the more or less game with us every single Wednesday on the Power 2, where we give you our picks, more or less on 2 or more players. You can win up to 1,000 times your money. Check Sleeper's terms of use because terms and conditions do apply, and use our code CFA for a 100% match up to $100. We appreciate Sleeper for their support. Download their app right now.
I think the thing that's interesting about this situation, and you touched on it kind of with John Mateer, is does Oklahoma expect to have John Mateer back by the time they play Tennessee on November 1st? I think the projection was 6 weeks after the surgery with his hand.
3 weeks.
As of right now, you kind of have a big question mark surrounding Oklahoma because until they get there, can they hold up? Because you've got number 9 Texas at home. You've got number 4 Ole Miss at home. You're on the road at South Carolina. You have a pesky Kent State team to deal with this coming week. So we'll see how that goes. But Tennessee, honestly, like this kind of lines up pretty well. Like you have to finish the year 9-3 at the worst. And even still, you're going to be on the fringe of the college football playoff, because looking at the remainder of their schedule, Arkansas is up next. So that'll be a zombie team next week. At Alabama, don't necessarily love that for Tennessee, but could be a shootout. Who knows? At Kentucky, the Oklahoma game is going to be essentially a college football playoff eliminator game. New Mexico State at Florida, zombie team, and then Vanderbilt to end the season. That should be an incredible game. But I'm so excited to see what happens between these two, because kind of the logjam we were just talking about, I think these two are the ones with the ability to have the most disruption. And even still, as I look at Oklahoma's schedule, after you're at Tennessee, you're at Alabama. So is it a battle of just defenses until the bitter end? And especially, I love this, Oklahoma ends the season against LSU. If John Mateer is good to go in that game, like, it does change a lot of things. But imagine this game just being like 9-6 and just defense out the yin yang from Venables and Brian Kelly. Like, I think that'd be not fun to watch, but there's a strong possibility that's the case. But Oklahoma and Tennessee, I think those are going to be the two that really shake things up below Alabama and Georgia within the SEC. This is really interesting the rest of the way.
They're going to have the game, and I think that Mizzou and Oklahoma are going to be a game that's a playoff. That's another one at this point, because Pope Bulow looking pretty dang good right now.
This is the offensive player of the year. Book it.
We will be back on Wednesday. Miami, Florida State, Texas, Florida, Vandy, Alabama, Virginia, Louisville, Texas Tech goes into Houston, 2-4 teams. And then A&M has that pesky Mississippi State coming into town that took Tennessee to the wire. Man, is the Big Ten doing anything this week, Tom? I didn't, I sorted this by top 25. What does the Big Ten have? Minnesota and Ohio. Yeah, there's not a lot of.
Let me pull it up. I don't know. I have it off the top of my head.
Wisconsin, Michigan, Illinois, Purdue, Penn State, UCLA. This might be an SEC show.
Yeah, it's going to be a heavy week of Cole talking. So
Cole's week, and
we'll get to pull, Wisconsin at Michigan, Illinois at Purdue. Beware of the spoiler makers. There you go. Washington at Maryland. I mean, Maryland did hang a bunch of points on Wisconsin, so like, can Washington bounce back? That'll be mildly interesting. Could UL Monroe upset Northwestern in Chicago? I'm interested. Or I'm in Evanston.
Stop it.
We'll spend exactly 0 seconds on that Wednesday.
Yep.
But we will.
I'll give you the preview right now. No, there we go. Congratulations, Wildcats win.
But we will be back Wednesday at noon, and we'll preview some of those games we were talking about. We'll pick 5 or 6 of them and then go from there. Make sure you're following everybody on Twitter. I think it's Mr. Cole Thompson on Twitter and Instagram, X and Instagram, whatever. And then is it just Tom Hannafin? Is it Tom_Hannafin?
At Tom Hannafin on both X and Instagram.
And man, make sure you're subscribed over on YouTube. So if you missed any of this show, we'll clip it up for you and you can watch the parts that you cared about. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thanks for joining us on a Sunday night. We will see you on Wednesday.